Received a active shooter call, shots being fired call from Antioch High School. From the investigation to this point, we know that at 11:09 a.m., a person who has been identified as a 17-year-old, armed with a pistol, fired multiple shots in the cafeteria of the school. The individual wounded two other students, one of them fatally, before shooting and killing himself. There is no danger at the school. The police department's SWAT team has cleared the building. We have identified the shooter, again, as I said, a 17-year-old, and the investigation is advancing now. One of the persons that the 17-year-old shot, a female, was transported to Vanderbilt University Medical Center and is deceased. A second individual wounded, also a female, has what is being described as a graze wound to the arm, and she is in stable condition at Vanderbilt. This investigation is being led now by the police department's homicide unit, and there is quite a bit of work to be done. That's all I have at this moment. I have no names to give you of the individuals yet. As we have already issued on social media, we have a family assistance center at Ascension across the street from us. There are a lot of school buses at Antioch, and those school buses are going to be transporting the students to this lot across from us here at Ascension. The initial plan was that even car riders would be transported by school bus just up the street to this family assistance center. We want to make sure that the entire campus is stabilized, including the parking lots, before we would release any vehicles of students who drove to school today. All right, I can take just a couple of questions before we go back to the scene, and again, there'll be more from this same spot in a brief time. There were two SROs in the building. They were not in the immediate vicinity of the cafeteria when this happened. By the time the SROs got down there, the shooting had stopped and the shooter had shot himself. I will let the school system answer that definitively. I did not see any metal detectors in the building, but that's a school system issue to address.
Vanderbilt told us a third student was taken in for an eye injury. Do you know anything more about that?
There is a male student who has some type of a facial injury. It's not a gunshot injury, and I'm not sure if he fell or what was the cause of that, but there is another male student being treated at Vanderbilt who does not have a gunshot wound. He has some type of a facial injury, the cause of which I'm unsure about.
We spoke to the family of one of the victims. They only speak Spanish. Are there any resources available to this family that are being offered right now for the investigation of the victims in the hospital?
Okay, I didn't hear the last part of your question.
Can you confirm the ethnicity of the victims at all?
No, I can just confirm gender at this point. The two gunshot victims who were taken to Vanderbilt are female, one of whom is deceased, and the shooter is male, and he's African American.
Have the families identified
That has taken place or is taking place.
Do we know any ages?
We know that the shooter is 17. I don't have ages for you on the two gunshot victims at this point. No, all of those questions will be a topic for the homicide unit to delve into.
Do we have a motive yet?
No. All right, that's what we have for now. We'll be back here shortly with more. Thank you.
All right, everybody, we have been listening to Nashville police give us an update on the Antioch High School shooting in Nashville. Unfortunately, we have learned a 17-year-old African-American student armed with a pistol fired in the cafeteria. striking 2 students, both female. One taken to Vanderbilt Medical Center and is now deceased. The other appears to have a graze wound and is in stable condition. There is another male student who has a facial injury, maybe from the chaos of what was happening at the time, but is not a gunshot wound. Right now, police say that there is no danger at the school. Let's bring back Anna Schecter, the coordinating producer for our CBS News Crime and Public Safety Unit. And Anna, we heard the officer there asked about SROs, school resource officers, that apparently they were there, but not in the vicinity of the cafeteria by the time they got there. The shooting had ended.
That's right. And, you know, our team, we've been looking at how often students bring guns into schools and trying to drill down on this, because if there isn't a metal detector,
which we don't know if there is, as he mentioned.
Yeah, we don't know if there is one. It still has. We've been covering this over and over. You know, the big question is, how did that gun get inside the school? We've covered students bringing it in their backpacks, even a long gun, covering it with a sweatshirt in one case in Georgia last fall. Just the prevalence of guns in the schools, it's alarming. And just to hear these details, I am impressed with how much information the police were able to give us so quickly. They clearly were ready to pivot and put out this information. The FBI field office there, so far they are aware and monitoring, but they have not sent agents. We know the homicide division of the local police are handling this case. So
is that typical?
It depends. Okay. You know, when a big school shooting, like we just covered in Wisconsin, we did have the FBI field office there immediately. And, you know, in that area, you're going to have agents who could get there pretty quickly. So they're treating this as a homicide. A lot of it is the local division will take control initially. This might change moving forward, but they clearly assessed the situation. They've had a little bit of time to do it. They've determined it appropriate to pursue as a homicide investigation.
And I imagine this is maybe only their first or second, maybe third week back at school from a winter break. Unfortunately, this is a question that I often ask you too often, but we heard the officer there saying no motive yet. What will investigators be looking at now to comb through this now that the shooter is deceased?
Well, they're going to be looking at any interaction between the shooter and the 2 victims. They're going to be looking at personal grievances that the shooter might have had. They're going to be interviewing everybody around this person. So family members, friends, coaches, potentially anyone that individual interacted with, to learn if there were red flags. And they're putting together a timeline. They're also putting together a digital timeline. They are going to look if this shooter posted materials in some online chat room or online platform that would have been sort of an indication that he would carry out a violent act. And of course, then there's this post-mortem. What did we miss? What red flags did we miss? And that's all going into this investigation. And there are going to be multiple agents looking at all of those different prongs.
Okay, Anna Schecter, thank you for joining us on this breaking news. Just to recap, everybody, there has been a shooting at Antioch High School, which is a part of the Metro Nashville Public Schools system there in Nashville, Tennessee, in which a 17-year-old opened fire, a pistol in a cafeteria, striking 2 female students. One of them tragically has died. The other described as being in stable condition with a graze wound. A third male student suffering from a facial injury, but not a gunshot wound. And that 17-year-old who has apparently died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. We are going to take a quick break. We'll continue to monitor that news and everything else developing right now. Right now, you're watching CBS News 24/7.